Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Due to the positive reception from last week's Mortal Kombat video, massive thank you by the way guys, while I talked about the old and new Liu Kang, and the differences the two had in this new timeline, I'll be applying this same rule to Scorpion, and explaining the similarities between the two, as well as the major differences that make them their own character. So for this video, I'll be taking influences from the Mortal Kombat 9 game, the Mortal Kombat X game, and the Mortal Kombat X comic books. I know recently a lot of people have been discussing whether or not these comics are in fact canon, but the title does have Mortal Kombat X in it, and until we actually get some word on whether or not this has been retconned by the official writer, I'm just going to take it as an extension of what we know in the Mortal Kombat universe. So in this video, I will be referencing the comics, use it as a source and way of kind of telling the differences between the old Hanzo and the new Hanzo, as it is another source of information that allows me to show the massive contrasting differences between these two different versions. So on that note, let's actually get on to the video. Now first off, let's talk about the similarities these two in fact share. They share the same tragic backstory, with the Shira Ryu massacre by the hands of Quan Chi that was once again pinned on Sub-Zero, therefore sparking a blood feud that would spill into the first Mortal Kombat game. And once again, after he's killed the first time around, he pledges his allegiance towards Quan Chi, but only for the purpose and promise of killing Sub-Zero, which he is successful of doing so in the first Mortal Kombat game. Now from this point onward, Scorpion doesn't really do much up until Mortal Kombat 4, where he learns what Quan Chi had done and does turn against him. Now in terms of personality, Scorpion and Hanzo are both driven by pure rage and vengeance. So in a way, these two timeline counterparts are in fact very similar. Scorpion in the original timeline is driven by his thirst for revenge against Sub-Zero, before it's then aimed at Quan Chi, and Hanzo in this new current timeline does share all of the same similarities that Scorpion does. But the massive rift between the two here is that Hanzo was able to reclaim his humanity at one point, something Scorpion in the original timeline didn't have a chance to do. And from there we learn a lot more about this new Scorpion. For the purposes of not making this complicated, I'm going to refer to the original timeline Scorpion as Scorpion, and a new Scorpion in this timeline as Hanzo, seeing as the current Scorpion is in his human form. It just stops stuff from getting really kind of complicated. Now when Hanzo was able to reclaim his humanity, we see a lot more from this individual. We see a fatherly figure be shown in him, from training to Kida, from both comics and even in the game. We see a father-son like bond between the two, which was completely absent from his other timeline counterpart. And if we want to take into account the comics, we learn of the sorrow and heartache he went through when he became a human once again. He was a man that was on death's doorstep and was someone that was considering suicide. So he was given a lot of depth in the comics and really in the new timeline in general. However, this doesn't really last too long, because he does essentially become a rage-filled monster once again, just having taken human form. And what I mean by this is when he learns of Quan Chi's deception, and when he basically went after him and cut off his head. So in many ways, Hanzo has what Scorpion originally did, which was the rage and vengeance arc we really did enjoy about the original character. But now on top of this, we learn a little bit more about him, the father-like figure he is, and the redemption he kind of went through in order to become a better person. So in terms of personality, Scorpion and Hanzo are very similar. It's just that Hanzo has a little bit more layers added onto him. But the only reason as to why is because in the first few original Mortal Kombat games, they followed a very linear arcade style, where instead of actually telling you a story through some form of dialogue, it instead told you it through text, and information on the character was scarce at best. Whereas in the new timeline, we have a much more cinematic based story, one that is somewhat shown through a film-like format. So really, the main reason why Scorpion wasn't given so many layers as a character was because one, he wasn't kind of written that particular way, and two, the limitations of the technology a decade and a half ago is very different to what we have now. So I believe for the most part that the limitations of the technology back then kind of put a character in a box of what they could do. But in saying that, Scorpion in the original timeline wasn't exactly completely one-dimensional, luckily. Scorpion was a character that did have a humane side. You see in the original timeline, after he killed the first Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero's younger brother would also pick up the mantle and understandably want to hunt him down and kill him. Now Scorpion at this point actually didn't want this kind of relationship with him. If anything, he felt sympathy for him and actually wanted to take him under his wing as a protege. Of course, this wasn't meant to be, but this does go to show that even in the early stages of the Mortal Kombat universe, that Scorpion, despite being a revenant, did retain some form of humanity. And we do see this kind of appear later down the line in Mortal Kombat Deception. But after he's been thrown into a Soulnado and is saved by the Elder Gods, he decides to strike a deal with them, and that is that he'll follow their every command in return for the revival of his clan, which again goes to show that even later down the game's lifespan, he still hasn't forgotten what drives him day by day. And it goes to show that despite his family being long gone, he still misses and yearns for them, which again is a nice side to Scorpion that we don't get to see a lot, especially in the original timeline. So really the new timeline Scorpion and the old timeline Scorpion are very similar. Both are spirits of vengeance with some form of humanity put in them. I will say that the new timeline Scorpion definitely does feel like he has more character than the original, again due to how the story is more cinematic than it is arcade-like, but in saying that, I can't also help but feel that the original Scorpion did help pave the way to this one, in the sense that there were slight glimpses of humanity that were unfortunately overshadowed by his rage persona. So it's quite interesting here how they took the original idea and concept and decided to expand on it more, which makes things extremely interesting for the coming future. And what I mean by this is that we're in a really weird position where Scorpion has killed Quan Chi, he killed the original Sub-Zero, and is now human, which means that all of the goals that he wanted to achieve in the original timeline have now been done. So what does this kind of mean for the character? Well, with the possible hint from his arcade ladder ending, which aren't always solid in stone might I add, it's been hinted that he'll form an alliance with Dark Raiden in the apparent upcoming battle with Outworld. Of course this is all based off arcade ladder endings, so take it for what you will. Now as for which one is superior, that's kind of hard to say. It's different styles of storytelling that I ultimately do feel will determine your own personal choice, and in all honesty it does come down to preference. So down in the comments below let me know which one do you think is superior, as the two counterparts are in fact very similar, so I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say. But yeah, this kind of does wrap it up for this video guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it, as you guys really did enjoy Liu Kang's video last week, so if you want to see more let me know. I might actually have this be like a new series on my channel. Of course that's only if you guys are interested, so again be vocal down in the comments below. Now before this video does wrap up, I want to say thank you to everyone for all of the Mortal Kombat support you guys have been giving me recently. It's been absolutely fantastic to return back to this community, and you can definitely expect to see more Mortal Kombat content in the future, so please do keep an eye out for my videos. Now before this video does wrap up guys, if possible let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell, so by giving it a thumbs up it helps out a ton. And if you want to go to extra step, we also have a Patreon set up, and a link for that will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care and I'll see you all next time.